G'day viewers, welcome to the second edition of the Footy Show for Grand Final week. How are you, PT?
Very well, mate. How about yourself?
Oh, fantastic. It's premiership time. It's exciting stuff,
pumped,
isn't it?
aren't they?
And the weather forecast looks absolutely mint for tomorrow, which is just magnificent. Blowing a gale out there today, and meant to be doing the same on Sunday, but it's going to be 25 degrees, sunny all day, and light winds. So that's terrific.
Yeah, and even just a little sprinkle tonight, we believe, just to freshen the track up, just to get it cherry ripe. So all will be in readiness for an absolutely perfect day of footy.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be magnificent. The 17s is it's just could be match of the day. The qualifying final 2 weeks ago was only a point in it.
Sorry, mate. Before we go too far,
right?
Remiss of me in the early episode of this week, we didn't acknowledge Volunteer of the Year.
Good point.
So just want to get that out there before we forget about it again. So every club gets to nominate a Volunteer of the Year, and congratulations to all of those folks. Announced all the junior ones on Sunday at the grand final. All the senior ones will be done at the presentation night in just over a week's time. But huge thank you to all our volunteers everywhere, but particularly to those guys who've been nominated. As a league, we selected a junior volunteer of the year, which this year was the president of the Camden Haven Bombers, Mr. Darren Merrick. So we let Darren know that, and he was good enough to come up to receive his award on Sunday. What he didn't know is he's also been picked as State Volunteer of the Year, which means that he gets 3 days in Melbourne, all paid for. He's in the grand final parade, and he gets 2 tickets to the grand final itself. So that's awesome. Well deserved. Well done, Darren. Fantastic.
And as he's a Tigers man, he is just loving
I'll only
life.
be disappointed when they go out in straight sets.
Won't be happening. Well, while we're going back, mate, I copped a bit of a bagging at CEX last night with the umpires catching up and the junior umpires. Apparently, we referred to young Ryan Bonham as Riley Bonham. So we've probably got Riley Dagger and Ryan a bit confused there. So apologies, but I'm really disappointed that you shaved your really bad head cuts off just to go the old bald look like me now. So apparently it was Mum that wanted to keep it. So.
No, that's right. And I'll tell you what, in that house you do what Mum says. I'll give you the tip.
Absolutely, we'll hear about it.
But apologies to young Ryan. Then I obviously had Riley in my mind because, as you say, I was thinking about Riley Dagger when he did the splits there, and I think he ripped both hamstrings off the bone. So well done to Riley Dagger as well.
Back on track.
17s.
Under 17s. Cracking game. Only 1 point separating Port Macquarie and the Coffs Breakers. Obviously, the Breakers winning in the qualifying final. Port did it pretty easily last week.
Yes.
Against the Tigers in the prelims. So
certainly went hard first quarter and basically left it with no real chance of there being another 1 point.
Yeah, absolutely. But, look, I think it just shapes up as a cracking game. Both players have got talent all over the park. Each team have got someone, Gibbo for the Breakers and Kai from Port Macquarie playing in that under 17 state team, if you like, through the year.
Yeah.
Lots of up and coming kids that are still playing eligible for under 15s playing in Kyle Davis, young Walsh. Got good players across the paddock in all age groups, so it'll be a great game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it should be an absolute ripper, and like you say, we've got a couple of guys there who played state footy, which has been, I guess, a bit of a trend for us over the last 4 or 5 years even, which is great to see. But there's also some other fantastic young footy players there. I mean, love watching young Ed Smith from Port Macquarie. Great hands. Oh, silky. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of Kempsey boys turning out for the Breakers as well, who just bring that little bit of class and whatever else to the table. So, yeah, look, should be a great game, and if we can get a game like we did 2 weeks ago, boy oh boy, wowee, strap yourselves in, viewers.
Absolutely, be a great start to the day. And then creating some history with the women.
Yeah.
First ever senior women grand final. Undoubtedly, the 2 best teams of the comp have got through. Sawtell will have to go in favourites. With the performances they've had through the year and winning that qualifying final reasonably easy. But a couple of big ins, Amy Fu and Britt Hargraves, both back last week to play for Port and getting them through, both played well. It's a couple of big ins for this game compared to the game 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And look, finals footy, first ever time for a grand final for the women. I think you caught up with Alana yesterday. A few nerves floating around Sawtell, some of the ladies. So anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a whole new dimension, isn't it? And I guess a little bit of a shout out too. That other game 2 weeks ago, obviously, the sideline to that one was, the triage ward that we had sitting on the side there. People being kicked off stretchers to get the next one out.
Yeah.
And certainly two of those players, to the best of my knowledge, Kelly from Port and Tilly from Port, both been ruled out. So unfortunately for them, they miss out on that. Not quite sure where Tash Mills at from Sawtell, who was also concussed in that game. But like you say, I mean, certainly, I think a lot of the ladies have probably played in end of season matches in other sports, but I guess first time in footy, butterflies are kicking in. There's a few nerves there, so yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah, 12 o'clock start for the women.
12 o'clock.
Should be a terrific game. And I think it'll be a big crowd too. I think both teams have been pretty active on Facebook, trying to drum up some crowd. So I think it'll be good.
Oh, look, and I mean, I think the thing is too, Cross, we've seen it all through the season, haven't we? And we've seen it, last year with demonstration matches, last year and the year before with youth girls stuff. People sort of, come along and see a game of women's footy and think it's probably going to be a little bit Mickey Mouse. And right from the outset, they see how hard the girls go. They see what good skill levels they do have and what a great game it is to watch. And before you know it, people are hooked. So I reckon there'll be a big crowd there of people keen to see how the ladies go for the first time in a grand final. So can't wait.
Absolutely. And moving on to Rezzies, Port Macquarie and Coffs Breakers, qualifying final rematch again. Port looked very good in that game.
Did.
It's Luke Boxall, Bryce Hayward.
Maybe Sammy J.
Sammy limped off a couple of weeks ago, so we'll see how he's pulled up. Achilles, was it? Yeah. So, but bit of talent there. A few of the old stages as well. They'll have a really good team. But the Breakers were good last week against Sawtell as well to get the right to have another crack at Port. Few guys probably pulling the boots on for the last time, perhaps in this format. Probably kept playing Masters, but Timmy Heather maybe scratch if he gets a game.
If he gets a game.
Well, he didn't play last week, so I don't know whether that was injury or whether that
saving him for the big game.
Saving him. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I certainly don't say this lightly at all, but I think certainly when you look at the Port Rezzies, I think the Paul Sheldon legacy lives on. Sheldo, by all accounts, was an absolute master of juggling games played so that everybody was available and eligible for every team everywhere. And certainly some of those names you listed off, who are absolute quality senior players in their own right, and rep players in their own right, are donning the colours totally legitimately in reserve grade, which obviously makes a good strong lineup along with guys like Clayton Mitchell and those kind of guys. Going to be a good team from Port Macquarie, and they proved that already. Breakers, I think, matched it with them first quarter, last quarter 2 weeks ago, so it's just a matter of whether they can keep the intensity up. And I guess Breakers, handy for them too in that they've got seniors and Rezzies both playing on the day, and 17, so they can juggle any which way they can.
That's right.
Should be two really good lineups, and I think, like you say, the match 2 weeks ago was probably the best game of Rezzies I've seen in sort of the time I've been here, 3 years. So I think it's probably go again.
Absolutely. Yep, I think that will be the case. And then we get to the blockbuster, the local derby. As you wrote in the preview, last 3 years this has been the grand final meeting, and history to be made again. Can the Breakers go back to back for the first time in their history in seniors, and can Sawtell get that last premiership to be the club that's won the most senior premierships in the league? Yeah.
So that's certainly something I know Sawtell is super keen to do, and we're obviously disappointed not to do that last year. So they'll be up and about looking to do that this year. Breakers obviously relative new kids on the block. 2015 formed. Tough first season as people came to grips with I'm no longer a Roo, I'm no longer a Swan, but got behind it the next year and been in every grand final since. Got their breakthrough last year. Couple of interesting things from my perspective. Thing one being that the last 2 years with these two playing, each of those 2 years it's been the team that's had to come through from the prelim final has been the one that's gone on to win. So in a sense, that week off has actually been a bit of a poison chalice. And I know that Breakers were out and about training last Saturday. just trying to keep a bit of momentum, keep a bit of routine happening there. So it'd be interesting to see whether they can break that hoodoo. The other interesting part of it is they've met each other 6 times over the season, 5 in the regular season, 1 in the semi, and it's currently split 3-3. So that's a great place for it to be in terms of how it pans out for the grand final. If there's any advantage to be gained there, it's the fact that the 3 that the Breakers have won have been the last 3 times they've faced off. So you got that against the week off. Who knows? Yeah,
Sawtell looked a little bit walking wounded last week, though. I question whether the playing last week was an advantage or not. Leif looked really sore with his groin, so I'm not sure how he's come up.
Yeah, you probably don't need to put the GPS on him this week. You probably just measure it in paces.
Right.
Yeah.
Full forward?
Yeah, I don't think he's going far.
Okay. Right, so that'll be interesting. And obviously Tyrone Jones broke his collarbone, so he's out for the Breakers. So it will certainly be interesting to see the final lineups, and then really looking forward to what should be a great game.
Yeah, and let's not forget too, mate, that 2 weeks ago, although the Breakers won, and looked like they'd been doing it relatively easy for 3 and a bit quarters.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Sawtell kicks 3 goals to get their nose in front, and Breakers had to come back again to win it. So it is literally sort of only maybe a kick or a couple of kicks in it potentially. And I mean, if we can get that, if we can get, like we said, 17 start off with a 1-pointer, the women, maybe draw like these 2 have played out down in Port Macquarie. Get the ops guys reaching for the rule books. Nice close match in Rezzies into these guys with a kick to 2 kicks in it. What a fantastic day that'll be.
Certainly well worth a $10 admission fee.
Oh, cheap, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's cheap. So looking forward to a great day of footy. As I said at the start, the weather's going to be magnificent. Clubs are raring to go. Looking forward to seeing a really big crowd out there. Could break a record, I reckon, with the women being the extra 4th game. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, certainly we had the women's demo game last year, and I don't think we quite broke the record, but we were right up there within less than 100 people of it. So, with the support that the women have garnered this year, with more interest back into Rezzies with an extra team in the comp this year, it could well be. I think you might be on the money there, Cross. Could be a record crowd.
Outstanding. So we look forward to seeing everyone out at the stadium tomorrow. Enjoy the rest tonight, and great day of footy ahead on Saturday.
Carbo load, folks. See you, viewers.
See you later.